Hello guys, today this video is to be about a topic I very much struggle with in the long run for various reasons. I want to go into one of them and share what I think can help a lot of us wandering souls in modern, highly digitalized, compartmentalized society where people are rushing into their little bubbles of comfort and Netflix and newsfeed, personalized media content, and really how dangerous or deceptive this can be when what we so often crave under the surface is something real and fulfilling. You know, to have a conversation with somebody, to be able to open up to a friend, a partner, to have a moment of trust and intimacy, to speak your mind with confidence and be heard and be taken seriously, and to feel some mutuality, to hear other people, share something crucial to their life, or to just enjoy a bit of a fun or interesting conversation about a topic that you are intrigued by or that you are just discovering through this new person, whatever it is. If you are becoming submerged in what today's technology has to offer, if you are finding yourself spending more and more time immersed in your own little bubble of media and content that is, sort of algorithmically prescribed to you, and where you find yourself, watching more and more videos or clicking between games and TV series and porn, or whatever it is that you are used to consuming that is taking up more and more of your time. If you are this kind of person, perhaps an introvert, most likely, and you are finding that this is occupying more of your time and energy and capacity, I think that within of itself can be a problem, a bit of a obstacle, or maybe even quite a large obstacle, where things are easy, predictable, comfortable, and fully under your control, right? If you want to find a friendly looking person talking about cars because that's what you feel like listening to at this current moment, perhaps the trends in the automotive industry, perhaps you want to watch a boxing match, or you want to watch a bunch of reactors that get together for your favorite sitcom, or you maybe want to watch a beautiful girl or man talk about some topic you're actually interested in, or anything along these lines, then it's at the reach of your fingertips and a few finger clicks and taps. It's so easy. You reach down into your pocket, you pull out the phone, that you have, and then tap, 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 tap. And, you don't even really have to write out your full search, because the Google search engines, your YouTube recommendations. I don't know, maybe you're on TikTok or Facebook, or I'm I'm actually I'm not really trendy. I don't really know what people use most of the time, but I have my own news feed and I have my own tendencies, and I know how easy it is just to be sitting in the public transport or at home or even walking outside, and I find myself with phone in hand and just scrolling through different options, and I'm just looking for that tastiest treat, that one thing I want, or one of the things I desire to listen to. And then I switch on, or you can imagine yourself switching on this like person or image that then sets in motion. It has its own sound and movement, and the crazy thing is you have so much control. You have such godly luxury of control that you can pause this video essentially anytime you want. You want it faster? You want to get to the root of the problem or interest faster? You just fast forward the video playback speed. Increase the playback speed of the video. Or you can decrease it, or you can skip through different parts, you can pause wherever you like, and no one's questioning you. You are the god of that universe, essentially. You are the god of your phone. And that is not even millions, I'm assuming. I'm assuming it's like more in the billions, I don't know, perhaps even trillions of search results and videos and content and songs and TV series and porns and whatever it is that you currently desire. And you can just navigate it like it's nothing. However, this is so radically different from real life, if you perhaps don't have a huge circle of friends, or you actually tend to feel lonely and like you ought to connect and make new relationships and bridges in your own life, and you feel like you should put yourself out there and start working on this and socializing and sort of networking, or trying to find other like-minded or inspirational new people that you will want to spend time with and that will want to spend time with you. But goddamn, they're not in your phone, so you can't just grab it out of your pocket. They're not gonna react to a few taps of your hand, so it's a lot more difficult to find them, to start up a conversation. It's a lot more scary, because you can't actually predict and control and tell them how to feel and what to say and what to talk about and whether they should look nice or how they should look so that you are most comfortable watching them as they speak. It's so beyond your control in a lot of ways. Obviously, you can choose. Maybe you are, attracted to an alternative environment, so you could go to somewhat of a hipster bar or gig. Maybe you like the quiet of the library, so perhaps you could go there, or read at a cafe that has your vibes. You get to make a lot of decisions, you get to stir and navigate, but it's not the godlike level of control and sort of defining the environment and the people and the image and the sound as you have with your phone and with the internet. So this is kind of crazy to me. I mean, I grew up with the internet, I'm gonna be 30 soon, so I haven't really experienced the world without internet much. I was very little when it was actually sort of getting into the public eye and feel, but I have seen it somewhat become on the rise, and I have slightly experienced and seen how what used to be only really available through the computer is now on the phone, and is now so extremely accessible. And in this sense, you never have to be lonely. And in this sense, everything's always under your control. Or at least that's what I feel that, our phones and media kind of make it seem like. So if you're an anxious person who tends to hide away from social situations and, engaging in these little confrontations and new steps where you put yourself out there a bit and you feel kind of naked and in the dark, and you don't know if people are gonna like you or if they're gonna make fun of you or if they're gonna ignore you, or maybe they will even like you a lot, and perhaps even that can freak us out. But whatever the reaction is, it's not within our control. And I just feel as though interactions and even these simpler, more basic things are becoming so uncomfortable for us. So for so many of us, I feel like for people to sort of abstain from this lulling, magnet, this soothing lollipop that is technology in our phones and mobile data and being able to connect to the internet from wherever, I feel like that has become like so omnipresent that so very few people are sort of abstaining from this. And I'm not saying, based off of this video, that you should throw your phone out, become an outcast, or that there's something inherently wrong or disgusting about having a phone and utilizing the power of access and the wonders of technology. I'm not saying that it's something to like shun and like completely remove from your life, but I want to just challenge discomfort. I want to point out how kind of strange and unnatural this may be to a certain extent. And I want to encourage putting yourself out there in those uncomfortable situations where you feel uncertain, where you feel nervous, where you feel anxious, and where you are forced to be real with other people who are maybe struggling with similar things as you are, but please, if you're feeling lonely and perhaps depressed, and anxious, challenge this comfort and accessibility and this substitution. Because I know, for example, for me, it is quite easy, or definitely used to be, to use video games and videos and music as this replacement for human contact that I have been wanting for so long, so badly, and that I'm still learning to face, and go towards and expose myself to and confront. And I want to motivate you a little bit with this little bit to perhaps try and do something similar when it is possible for you. I like to say that gentle activity, this gentle pushing towards, something new, something challenging, or something active, I think that's sometimes quite a bit healthier than, pushing ourselves, way too hard and then finding ourselves sort of collapse under, I don't know, a lot of anxiety or frustration or disappointment, or perhaps there's too much to process. So, I'm not trying to navigate you to jump off the deep end here, but I am trying to, mobilize this thought that the world is out there. And I think it's even scarier, not more dangerous, but I think it's even scarier and more nerve-wracking and more anxious than it used to be, because now we are so very spoiled by our technology and the replacement of human contact, right? I think we have gotten so used to having so much control and being so godlike that when we go amongst other people and we feel, so exposed and naked and vulnerable and in a certain sense powerless because we can't control them the way we control our technology, I think in those situations, it's perhaps harder than it used to be. Because back, I don't know, 70 years ago, Sure, there was TV, there was radio, there were phones, but at the same time, there was just so much less content, and it was so much more restricted to access it. So I feel like the further you go back in time, the more you found people inclined to simply give their all to the social contact that was present in their life, or obviously maybe even completely run away from it if if that didn't feel at all real or doable. I'm not saying that people had it easier in the old days, or that everyone knew how to connect and we've forgotten how to do it, but I do believe that with these huge technological breakthroughs and this extremely accessible medialized content where we're just surrounded by screens, not screams. Well, if you listen to metal, perhaps, but but no, you're surrounded by screens and images and audio, and it feels like it's all built for you, and it's such a beautiful dream that perhaps never has to end. But I'm here trying to tell you that I think it either should end, or at least it should be restricted. I think if you feel that this may be taking away something from you, this is all I'm saying, just purely subjective ideas, and if they do not sit with you, if they do not resonate with you, then just discard them at will, please. But if they do resonate with you and you feel like this could pertain to you as well, remember to put yourself out there, to challenge and push yourself, to get into the uncomfortable stuff. And remember, just because it's uncomfortable, anxiety inducing or scary, it doesn't make it dangerous, it doesn't make it bad, it doesn't make you a failure, it doesn't make you ugly or socially incompetent. And you know what? If you feel like that, remember that on some large level, I think we are all becoming a bit socially awkward, and that's alright. Perhaps the person you've just met at the bar, at the concert, at the library, in the train, at your new job, any of these people that you may be getting to know, or you're afraid to make the first move on and ask them a question or introduce yourself, they may be just as terrified of interacting, because they've grown out of touch with it a bit, and they may also be rediscovering it or trying to fight their way through to it. So I hope you guys enjoy yourselves, but I also hope you remain uncomfortable, as long as it's a part of your own growth, as long as it's a part of putting yourself out there in a healthy way, because that kind of discomfort, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, as long as it's not damaging you, as long as you're not engaging with it in some sort of an unhealthy way. Take it in moderation, or whatever amount might be healthy for you, but if you're lonely, put yourself out there, put yourself through that discomfort. I think it should get better over time, and perhaps we will need these little phone interactions and personalized content a little bit less, and feel a little bit warmer inside. Good luck, guys. Take care.